we'll get into this. For those of you who know C-3PO and Mandalorian, this is Chris Bartlett, so let's hear it for Chris. Next is one of my favorite character actors in the entire universe, and that is Adam Meir. You'd probably know Adam more behind the costume when you look at things like apes, gorillas, films that he's done. He's done some incredible films. Go ahead and jump in there and tell us your latest accolades, Adam.
Bad Trip on Netflix. I have a movie coming out with George R. R. Martin that I did last year. Yeah, I'm not allowed to say yet.
See,
it's been going on for 2 years that I'm not allowed to
This
say.
is the problem we had last time.
I know.
Because we knew what we could say and couldn't say because of the strike. And
Well, now it's just,
that was crazy. But anyway, it's just such an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
My next person that I have is Chris Childers. I worked with Chris at Cirque du Soleil. He's an incredible character. You see him as the red bird on top of here. He's going to talk to you about that, but also he was the choreographer for Spider-Man 2002. So let's hear it for Chris Childers. Next to me is somebody down at the end is somebody very, very near and dear to my heart, because you will find him with people more than what you see on film. Yes, he does film, he does print, but the fact is he's got probably the biggest heart in the entire world for giving back to his community. So let's hear it for Christopher Cano. First, we're going to start with Chris Bartlett.
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah. I'm Chris Bartlett. I have been a professional actor for 18 years, and having the time of my life on The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, all 3 seasons of Mandalorian, and Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm known for playing droids, and I'm a huge nerd. I've been a fan since '77, a Star Wars fan. So anyway, the droid I'm most known for playing is a fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. I am C-3PO, human-cyborg relations. I am the other guy who plays him. Anyway, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I'm happy to be here.
We're going to watch a quick video right now that will show you who Chris is, and let's pray that this goes off without a hitch. If we don't have sound, that's good, because he'll be able to talk through it.
Yeah. So I play bounty hunters and mercenaries. They all have different personalities, which is really fun. This is Q90, who was known for flying Mando's ship and breaking Twi'lek out of prison. There's C-3PO on the Oscars. And the ferryman in Mandalorian, an alien species, Kubaz species. Oh, there's one Jack from Obi-Wan Kenobi. I like sinister bounty hunters. They're fun. Yeah. So, you can see the droid movement. Yes, I work with the little green guy a lot. He's as real in person as he is on TV. Yeah. Also, that little guy, R2. Yeah.
Notice those movements, because we're going to be working with you on how those movements were created. So you're going to be coming out of here with learning what it is that we do, and Adam's going to lead us through that.
Yeah, they're all different. You notice like the teacher droid is very calm and soothing to the kids, where C-3PO is always a fish out of water. He's always frantic, and bounty hunters are cold killing machines, so they're more calculated in their movements, and then awkward aliens in elevators. So it's fun to come up with their animation for each different character.
The cool thing is when you come up with your own character, you own it. And that's important for you to develop in what you're doing. Chris, you want to tell us how you build a costume?
Oh, well, I got started in acting, building costumes in 2000. And so all the costumes that I wear on the show, except for Zero and the 2 aliens. I build all the droids. And so, like I said, I was just doing this stuff for fun before. Oh, thanks. And so I didn't have any career plan for this. I was just building, whether it was stormtroopers or Boba Fett or other, costumes for my kids. And then I really liked droids, so I spent 3 years building a C-3PO costume that later got me an audition with Lucasfilm. And so that was how I started. And then when the new shows started spinning up, then I was cast as a lot of other characters. Yeah.
Let me just throw this out there. If you're going to be indoors, outdoors, it doesn't matter. Have the best ventilation when you're working with these chemicals that he works with, because we want you to be around for a long time.
Yes, you can see I'm wearing a mask there, but
Okay, notice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Chris Knoll, how are you?
I'm doing great. Oh, sorry about that. I'm so used to having a helmet on and I have to yell to be heard.
So as you can see on the screen, yes, who is this man with a great big heart? The man with the heart of gold who goes out to all these different races to encourage people and to give them hope. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, well, people that know me know my most common expression is when you cosplay. When you cosplay, you're sort of imitating a character, a superhero. When you do charities, you actually become the hero. And so what I'd like to really encourage is everybody who does cosplay, think about the fact that you can be the real life person to a kid whose imagination can make that link between what we see with these fine performers on camera and what happens. And the most common movement you need to learn is to kneel or squat. Bring yourself down to the kid's level, and it's absolute magic.
One of the greatest compliments that a character could have would be when other people do their character. And I will tell you, I met a gentleman today by the name of Jedi who has your character. Jedi, would you
could
like
you
to
stand
show
up?
us what you did for Dude Fader?
Yeah.
Now, if that isn't a compliment, I don't know what is, because we work so hard to keep you entertained, and once in a while, between the applauses and seeing what you've done is truly incredible. And I just want to thank you, Jedi. That is marvelous.
And by the way, that's his real name. So not only does he get a great costume for the rest of his life, he's got a better name for the rest of his life.
Tell me about your costume. I'm looking at you here from head to toe. You're a lot lighter than the other costumes, correct?
Right, so it just started out as a lark. I used to be a set photographer at a Comic-Con 2014. All the cosplayers said, we challenge you to come up with something. So I took a kid's, remember the Darth Vader helmets with the little voice box that hung down? I painted that gold and wore a Hawaiian shirt. And then I decided, what if I started adding pieces to it? And so anytime a kid gave me a piece of Star Wars stuff, I would glue it to my costume until it became 55 pounds. You try doing a 5K with 55 pounds, that's equal to carrying a Sparkletts water bottle of 5 gallons. And so I shed the weight, but then I realized, let's shed the weight off the costume too. So now the whole costume weighs 5 pounds. And I get to give Chris Bartlett a hard time because what I'm most proud of when I hang out with him is the fact my version are Crocs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit down too.
Oh, that's right.
Right, yeah.
But who
Yes.
you can really give a hard time to is Adam Mir,
Yeah.
because he's going to tell you about his costume and what he does. Isn't he beautiful? God, he's so beautiful. From this to this. From this?
She's a fan.
Well,
Adam.
I'm Adam Mayer. I'm most known for playing those gorillas.
You ready? Let's show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coco, oh, let's not agitate the animal.
It's you. You need to apologize. It's you. It's between you and him. Come here.
He needs to apologize. He has to be able to see your expressions. He can't see that far.
Son kez görüyor olabilirsiniz. Nesli tükendiği için değil. Çünkü belgesel kanallarınız yarın kapanıyor. Neyse ki ek ücret karşılığında kanallarınızı tekrar açtırabilirsiniz. Hatta açtıracaksınız. Açtıracaksınız.
It's not a problem right now. Just no sudden movements. They thought it was contained in the zoo area. Keep your eyes down. No sudden movements, okay? Please, do me this big favor. Don't move. Don't look him in the eye. He is a zoo animal, so most likely he's going to ignore us.
Isn't he cute? So when we started this panel, we did it with Don McLeod, who was my mime teacher back in 1973, not to outdate myself. And to see and be around Adam and Don was really incredible. And Adam's going to tell us about his costume from head to toe, what you go through, different movements. Let's start with just what's on the slide, and that's, tell me everything.
Well, I just want to first tell how I
Yeah.
started this
Sure.
crazy thing. So I started studying mime when I was 11 years old, and nobody really studies mime anymore. And when I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, I had a teacher called Don McLeod, who was one of the most famous mimes back in the day. And later I found out that he was the most prominent gorilla actor in the 80s and 90s. He did Man with Two Brains and Trading Places, and also all the special effects in Total Recall, along with Rob Bottin, and just an incredible person. He was just teaching mime, and he realized that I am drawn to it, so we became really good friends. And one day he got a job in 2010, he got a job, and he said, "My back hurts. Do you want to try to get into the gorilla suit and see if it fits?" And I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And I actually did fit in the suit. I was like, "You're doing it from now on. I'm done." And so I kind of took over the gorilla stuff, and it's a very unique and beautiful little creature to become. So yeah, the costume is actually a 75-pound costume. That is extremely restrictive. You can't really breathe inside. You can't move anything. It's very claustrophobic. I actually happen to like claustrophobic feelings, which is lucky, because I'm enjoying it. Most people just can't stand it after 5 minutes. So as you can see, there's actually, I think, another picture that is below.
How long can you stay with the mask on? Like when you're performing or you're on set, how long a time do you go before you take your break?
When the head is on, here it's off. That's not. It's about half hour. After half hour, you have to take it off, because you literally cannot breathe normal air. So you have to take it off, and it gets about 140 degrees inside. And then so you can get a heart heat stroke pretty easily. And there is a lot of layers to it. Underneath this layer, there is a whole muscle suit, which is made of foam and latex and spandex and all these.
You can see it here.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it's on the right side. You see the bodysuit, and then on top of it goes the fur, and on top of that goes the hair. I mean the head.
And you have makeup.
And you have makeup on, yeah, and you cannot. Anyway, it's a tasking costume, but it's so restrictive that you feel that you become a different person, and then you become a gorilla, really, because you can smell the stench of years, and the hair, and everything is itchy, and everything is heavy, and you just become that heavy, weird creature, and then it helps.
And you
I'm
have
sure.
to make it come to life, the movement.
Yeah.
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 Also, you have somebody, like when you're making a face, okay, when you do the face, there's somebody with a remote on the other end doing your movements, correct?
Yeah. There is a remote control that moves the eyebrows and the nostrils and some of the lips and stuff like that, and then it's choreographed movement between me doing the movement and the other person doing the expressions.
Now, I have some other ones on here, but we're going to play a little game. Is that real or not real? Is that a real gorilla or a real Adam? Okay, real gorilla? All right. Adam?
No?
No, it's Adam? Okay.
Well, that's actually Don, but yes.
Adam? Good. All right. So we're going to talk about how, if you don't mind, even though
Yeah.
Chris, your thing is up here. When you do your arms and stuff, you have like let's say if you're walking or sitting, you actually exchange different body parts to your costume.
Yes, the gorillas have way longer arms than human beings, so there are hand stilts, which creates the right movement that you can, when you stand up, that it actually looks like a real gorilla and helps with the movement. And then when you grab things, there's another hand, a glove, that you gotta shoot from kind of close up to use it, because it's not the right length.
If you notice Adam when he's moving, it's not all out here. Everything starts in here. If you noticed when he lifted his arm, when he lifted his arm or when he did something, it all comes out here. And so you're going to be working with us on that shortly. We're going to talk about, Gumby here. This is Chris Childers, and you could see how flexible he is and what he does, and he's going to tell us a little bit, and I have your video too, when it comes to creating a character. This is Chris Childers.
Hi, how are you? I was a performer with Cirque du Soleil for quite a few years, and in the year 2000, Sam Raimi, who was going to direct Spider-Man, came to Cirque du Soleil to officially ask them if they would help them figure out how Spider-Man would move. Ian Bryce was also there, the producer, and I was at that table meeting, and our publicist was right next to me, and I had been doing the Redbird character at Cirque for quite a few years, and Cirque said, no, they don't want to do Spider-Man. And the publicist literally said to me, Chris might want to do it. So I ended up going from Vegas to LA for about a year and a half, choreographing the entire Spider-Man, his wall climb, his web slinging through the city, and a lot of improvisational things for the very first film. So that was quite an epic little side job, and my friends and family always ribbed me about that because I literally got it by somebody saying, oh, Chris might want to do it. And then Sam really liked what I was doing, so he kept me on for a while.
Let's see a little bit about Chris just letting go in a room and being as creative as he can to figure out what he's able to do and not do. Because the last thing we want you to do is to put a costume on and then you stretch so far out of your element that you realize you've pulled all these muscles. So you really want to warm up before you put your costume characters together. Let's go take a peek at Chris here. Okay, everybody, let's do it.
I'll be teaching that shortly. Just kidding.
Pretty cool, huh? So let's see what happened when he was working with the actor.
This was a lot of fun to create with Sam Raimi because they had this all storyboarded, but they had no idea how they wanted the Spider-Man to move. So I was hanging in a harness for quite a few hours, just above the ground, trying to keep my knees up. That's why they were like happy I was flexible. I had to keep my knees up without hitting the ground and place my hands and crawl down the wall, which they flipped that way. But it was a blast to figure that out with Sam. It was really fun.
So, a couple facts here. Adam, we're going to go through, it can be hot, it can be heavy. Tell us a little bit about the costume.
Oh yeah, so once you get into the suit, and I'm sure that Chris can say the same thing, it has the characteristics already in it. So for the gorilla suit, it's very heavy and very hot and very itchy and weird, and for the robot, I'm sure it's very restrictive, and so you kind of try to go with that feeling and imagine what it would feel like if you were a droid, or if you were a gorilla, or if you were an alien that is too fluid and then for me, I just try to imagine how would I act, what would I be like if I were a gorilla. Not like as an actor who playing a gorilla, but more like as actually a gorilla, what would I do?
Let's talk about the one movement at a time, and if you could show us how it works, and then we want the audience to do it with you. The fact that you have one movement at a time.
So for the gorilla, so a lot of people think that gorillas are aggressive and they are fast and they are angry, and they're not. They're really calm animals. They're very slow and everything until you get them pissed off. But most of the time they are really, and they would eat stuff. So for example, they are eating something and then they notice something over there and they keep eating, and the hand moves, stays here, and then they go back and look and they take a bite and go back. So this would be an isolated movement that you only move one part of your body. Like mimes do that a lot. Breakdancers, pop lockers do. They move like one part of the body without the other one. Like.
That's similar to droids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every limb is an individual machine, so the arms are separated, so that's how it moves too.
And then that makes it not human. And once you start moving like a human, that's magic.
Let's see if you can follow what I do, and then they'll jump in. And what we're going to do is just where you're seated, just take your right arm, and only your right arm moves up. And now your right arm goes down, and then the left arm up, and the left hand down. And now move your head to your right, which will be our left. And only the head comes back, and nothing else moves. So if you did it correctly, it would look like up, down, down. Look, you guys are getting into character. Turn, back. You see? And so Adam's going to lead us through a couple more things, which is the opposite movement. So stay standing, okay? And now he's going to show you what happens when you add opposite movement, okay?
But you're going to pull a rope? You mean?
Yeah, rope.
Oh, rope.
Rope
Okay,
wall,
so that
yeah.
so the rope. So again, one of the famous mime
And
moves.
if you want to try it, come on up and stand up and try it.
One of the famous mime moves is the rope pulling, right? In order to create that illusion, you have to be able to isolate every part of your muscle. So you see the rope, so you see it first, and then you take your hand and you grab it, but you just don't grab it like this a lot, but wrap your fingers around it. Then you take the other one, wrap your finger around that. And then when you move it, you move your hands back and your body forward. So like that. And then you go forward, and then you go back. Then you move forward again. So you gotta make sure
You see
the
that
arm
movement?
stays at the same place when you want it to. And then you move it like that. And then when you get pulled, your whole body goes with it, and then you move your legs like that to see the.
So who would like to stand up and do this, where you're going to do just this?
I just use the force when I need to move a rope.
All right, anybody want to try? Where you're standing? Okay, Adam?
Yep.
Hey,
Where you
come
are
on
right
up.
there is perfect. Just where you are right now. So this is where you're standing. And what you're going to
Okay.
do is just bring it in. And
So
then
you go
take
in the
it out.
direction, into the direction of the rope. You see the rope. The other, exactly. You see the rope. You have to see it.
Yes.
And then you put your hand around it, and the other one, and then you pull.
And as you pull, oh, you're
The
perfect.
way you pull back the hand and then the body forward, and then you go together. And then from this position,
Yes, and now bring it out.
nice. That's already good.
Watch me. So you bring it in, and then you'll put it back out. Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Good job.
Well, that.
Very nice.
Ali called that rope-a-dope.
Cool.
You did great.
That's great. So when you do that, now Adam adds something which is called the click to the movement, which is how we get the robot.
Yeah, well, Chris does.
Chris, why don't you want to demonstrate when we have that click movement?
Oh, okay. Well, droids in Star Wars are a little different than the robot. If we're your standard kind of robot. If you're oh yes, like that kind of a click. Like that kind of a thing. But in Star Wars, it's a little different. They're C-3PO might be. Yeah, he might. Yes. Oh, I see. Excuse me. Like that. It's a little different, but anyway, that's kind of a little.
No, but you can still see the delayed movement. The hand doesn't move at the same time. First the head moves. Oh, what's
Right.
going on there? And then he goes with the hand, and then he's like, oh, he just.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah. So, exactly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that was. I worked with Anthony Daniels to figure out. He had a lot of great advice on how to move. That each individual piece is separate, and then that's your foundation of a droid, is being able to move everything separately. And there's always a termination. So it's not like Adam was saying, fluid. It's when he gestures this way, the hand stops. It's not like, oh, hey, over there. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yes. Like that. So each movement has a termination or a finish, and that's how that
When you're practicing cosplay, I recommend turn off the sound on the movie and just watch the movement, because sound affects what you see. The soundtrack, the talking, really affects your movement. When I found out that I was going to be on the panel, I watched the first 2 Spider-Men, and then I watched all of Chris Bartlett's work, and I had no idea how much complexity was involved, because to tell the truth, without the movement of somebody like Chris, Spider-Man's just a kid sitting in his room whining about the fact that he got bit by a spider. So study the movement. When you get into cosplay, before you go to a convention, stay in character all through the convention, and you'll get much more attention. And the way to do that is really study the character. Don't just make the outfit. Study the character, the movement, and you'll really be a lot happier, and you'll get a lot more joy.
Adam, I'm going to ask you, when we were taking classes from Don and Childers, I got you next, okay? So get warmed up now. Okay, you know what's coming. Yep. Adam, you remember when Don was teaching us that click movement, that like when your hand comes down, you actually will go down before you come up. Can you show our wonderful new friends what this is about?
Yeah. So that's it's again very similar to the original robot movements that you do in dancing, or not Star Wars robots, but other robots. Pop lockers are very good at it. First of all, it's again the isolation of the movement of the body. But then when you stop, if you lift your
Stand up for us? Thanks.
if you lift your hand, I can do that and stop, but it just doesn't look like anything. It's just stopping. But if I add a little back, and when you practice it a lot, then it just looks like you're stopping, but it actually, there's a little movement that goes back. So like a machine would stop, like, there's like a motion.
Right.
Yeah,
If-
exactly. There's a
If you
motion.
notice the movement, if I put my hand down, before I put it up, I'm gonna go back down a little lower, down, up. If I wanna go over to your right, I'm gonna go first left, then the right. If I'm gonna do something where I want the hand to come up, it's gonna go down and then up. So when we do these robot characters, and again, I'm just a panelist, I shouldn't be doing this. So what happens is if I'm gonna move my head, it's gonna be head, over,
Yes, that's-
arm.
was my next one.
You see the
Same
click?
thing with the-
Okay, take it away.
Yeah, the head, the same thing. You go left, but you go a little right.
Do you see that click? So I'd like you to do that out in the audience, okay? I want you to look straight at me, and you're gonna look to your right, which is that way, right? And what you're gonna do is to first move left, then right. That's the timing of it, like left and then right, and then carry that movement. 1, 2, 3, click. Oh, she's really good. Okay, and take it over as far as you can, okay? And then I want you to click back, so go even a little further to the right before you come back. And keep that even movement, okay? Keep it so that it's like click and even,
There you
okay?
go.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That was
Very good.
All right.
And when you're wearing a helmet, lock your eyes forward as though you were a droid. So that when you move, and you're posing for changing pose for a photographer, don't just move your eyes. Lock your eyes to where you have to force to move your head all the time. And that's a real trick that I see a lot of people that wear helmets. You can see that they're actually turning their head inside their helmet rather than turning their helmet as their head. It really helps bring that out. And Chris Bartlett pointed out to me, slow your movements down. If you're posing for photographers here at the con, slow it down. It really gives them a chance to realize that you're giving them something special rather than allowing them to walk up to you, take one click shot and walk away. If you're going to give different poses, move into the pose. Don't just strike the pose. And you'll get a lot better results.
We're going to play a game with that right now that Chris is going to lead you through, but first we need to warm up. So, Mr. Childers, show us what your body is capable of doing.
Okay.
Last time he did this, he had these really tight jeans on with cowboy boots. I'm so appreciative of what you
I don't know
wore
what I'm
today.
supposed to do, but I laugh because warming up is really key. And as you look how I am right now, like this. All of the connectors that I took for granted as a youngin', like the connector tissue, the fibers, because I could always do crazy stuff with my body, but those tighten up as you get older. So the key is like loosening up all of these connectors, right? So like really side bending and holding
want to try it,
is
try
like key to really open all this up, right? So I do a lot of really overside stretching on either side. You want to try to hold your hips in one place and really reach over and over and over.
How long you're holding it?
Not literally, but until it starts to hurt a little bit.
And notice that
And back off.
he's controlled. It's not just like reach and rip. Everything is controlled, and that's what's so important.
Yeah, it is. You got to work on the breath, right? Like your breathing, your inhale and your exhale. It's kind of yoga based, but it's that same feeling, right? So you want to lengthen, 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 lengthen. So, and I'm used to improvising and doing things bigly because dancers are like, they're like, you can do anything, and they run you to death, and you're doing all this crazy stuff. And now that I'm older, I'm smarter. But warming up is definitely key. I think I'm smarter. I don't know if that's for real.
Don't worry, it fades.
Yeah. Is that good?
That's great.
Stretches, I'm like,
They don't believe that you can, yeah, there you go.
leg, oh my God. Leg. I still have my legs, I don't know why, my back is not working.
God, for being 83
But the legs are
years
still
old,
there.
you're great.
And I can put my arm behind my head.
Beautiful.
That's hilarious. So we hope you're getting a couple ideas. Right now, Chris Bartlett's going to lead you. In fact, the panel is going to lead you through a little game that we play so we could see what you do in a certain period of time. And I hope everybody plays this game. Chris, take it away.
Okay. So one of the great things at Comic-Cons is we'll see people in costumes who've spent so long building their costumes. Maybe entire families have been building their costumes. Maybe it's been months or a year that you've been building this. And then you come to a convention where this is your audience, this is your stage. And then someone might say, oh, you look great, can I get a photo with you? And then you're so tired because you've been working on this for a year and you're hot and then the photo ends up kind of looking like you're waiting for a bus instead of, the energy of your character, right? Or whatever your character is. Like the king over here. You are so regal, yes, and yeah, look at that's great, yes, and so I love the motion. You've obviously been working on that. That's great, and so anyway, so I thought maybe we could do some energy poses so that when someone comes up and takes a picture, you will feel the energy of if you're a king or a Jedi or Batgirl. Okay, so we'll do that now, right?
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna do it with me? Okay. All right. And how many are we gonna do?
Let's say 4 or 5. You feel it.
Okay.
Feel what you're saying.
Okay. So think of your character, the one that you are playing, and Adam is a gorilla. Chris is Spider-Man. That's right.
Yeah.
Chris Cannoli is Dude Vader, and I'll play a droid.
I'll be an old lady.
Okay. All right. So imagine someone's going to take our photo.
And you have
Should
to
we
do
get
this too.
closer? Should we get close? No, yes. Closer together. Here we go. Yeah. All right. And then we'll take, all right, photo 1.
1, 2, 3, 4. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a camera's getting them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we want to see you do it, getting into different poses. Even if you're just sitting there, you want to stand up and do it, and you get into a pose. That's what we want to see. Okay?
Yeah, let's see.
Ready?
So,
Okay, we're going to get ready for our first one.
there you go.
Yep.
And there's a
Okay,
Jedi over
little kid comes up to you, or a person comes up, and they want a photograph with you.
Princess.
So here we go. And 1, 2,
Nice.
3,
Ah,
4.
great.
And 1,
Nice.
2,
Oh, look at Spider-Man over there.
4. At Princess Leia.
Yes.
1,
Yeah.
2,
Look at that. Great.
3,
Nice.
4. 1,
Awesome.
2,
Oh, yeah.
3. Well, I was really hoping to see my wonderful Kingy over there.
Oh, we got a special
Yeah.
performance already.
Yeah?
Yes.
No, because you're so awesome. Okay, let me look
Oh
on.
my gosh.
Let me look on this side of the room. Ready? And freeze.
Yeah.
2. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And freeze. 2, 3,
Oh, very good.
4. And 1, 2,
Nice.
3,
Excellent.
4. And
Perfect.
1, 2. See, it's really important for you to change that look and to just, it doesn't take much. Hold it, grab it, it's yours. Okay? So this is really, really cool. I love it.
Great.
All right, I'm going to give you a round of applause.
Yes. Good job.
Okay, let's talk about that movement behind the makeup. Somebody take it away.
Oh, behind the makeup? Oh, well, Usually I am covered by a mask, but when you're rehearsing a scene, I'll just tell you a behind the scenes moment. Our dear friend Carl Weathers, who recently passed away sadly, he and I worked together almost every day on season 3 of The Mandalorian. He plays Grief Karga, and I played his right-hand droid Copper. And so He decided, why don't we do all of our rehearsals without the mask on, so that in his words, so we can get this emotional connection between our two characters. And so we rehearsed, did all of our lines. I'm doing all, performing in the scene with him, and so we figure out the whole story and how we're reacting. In the scenes, my droid is kind of like a young C-3PO, and that doesn't have as much experience or programming. And so the joke is that he always is alerting him to all this information that he already knows. So I'll run into the office, and there's a ship up above, and he says, "Oh yeah, that's Mandalorian privateers." But you can see in these moments where he's explaining stuff to Copper in season 3, you can see Carl's emotional connection to me, because that's how we rehearsed it. So we might be playing a droid or a Spider-Man or a gorilla, but inside we're human, and so that is really what brings your character to life. At Lucasfilm, we don't. If all of the costume parts to C-3PO are in a box, we never say, "Oh, C-3PO's in the box over here." That's just the costume, and it's not the character until somebody's wearing it. So just like you, in your costumes, it's not a character until you're performing, right? So, where was I going with that?
No,
okay.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, but I want you all to try something, okay? And you're gonna try something too. Show me a really straight face, like as if you have a box on your face.
No emotion?
No emotion. But I want you to show me happy hands. Happy hands and happy shoulders, like you're so happy. And now all of a sudden, show me what happens when you're fearful with a straight face. And show me if you're sad. Straight face. So you see, if your face is behind these masks, you have to make the movement work, right, Adam?
Yeah.
That you go from your fingers to your toes. That if you're happy, even your toes are happy. And this is really important when we have this movement behind the mask, okay?
But we still make the faces, though.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
behind the mask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really helps with the energy.
Right, it helps with the energy, but you might be sitting there thinking, okay, I'm gonna ignore the body, but I've got this great, well, we wanna be able to see that in everything, okay? And really make it big. Adam, if you can demonstrate 1 second, if you don't mind, the fact that how do you get the arm out from the chest, how important that chest movement is. It's not just a hand, but if you move your hand, I would love to just see that. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay. So, you mean the gorilla hand?
Yeah, like if you notice, it's not just that, it's the fact that it comes from the chest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, can you demonstrate that? And I'm so sorry I cut you off.
No, it's okay. So, you gotta imagine how you're built. And so I'm imagining that my hand is a foot longer than it is, and then it's heavier, and you gotta do a certain movement in order to reach, because you're gonna crash into the table if you're doing it like a human being. So you're gonna go this way.
Do you see how he lifted this whole part of his body lifted?
Because the gorilla would have to do that in order to not to get into things, and then the other hand, it would, if it would hold his hand like that, it would go upwards, like if you put your body down, then your arm looks like it goes upwards because it's too long, and then that gives the illusion of not a human arm. What I wanted to say is also, if you see this particular picture is a perfect example. If you see the eyes, these are human eyes. So gorillas have black or reddish, brownish eyes. There's no white in a real gorilla. So this is a human eye, and one of the reasons that they like our gorillas to use in certain things, especially a lot of comedies, is because we have human eyes, and then the expression is more recognizable by human beings as sad or happy because it comes from the eyes. So you wouldn't see, if you look at a real gorilla, you wouldn't necessarily know if he's happy or sad or angry. But with the human, you usually look at the eyes and you see it. So we use the gorilla, we use human eyes in this gorilla, which most people don't realize that it's human eyes, because it shows the emotion much easier than just have it all black.
We're running out of time to do questions. If there's one, it said one, is there anybody who has, or show me how strong your hand is if you have a question for us.
Question.
Yes, there you go.
I can't hear.
How did you modify the costume?
Oh, okay. So people that know Dude Vader knows the costume changes at every event. So this is about the 800th version of the costume. 3D printing. It's the magic of the universe. The crest changes for every charity. So if you're out there and you're going to invite me to be a pair of your charity, send me your logo. I will 3D print the situation. The actual, this full piece was done by a Chinese company that was intrigued by Dude Vader. And so they said, send us some images, we'll print the outfit. And so, because they knew that I do 25 5Ks a year in this thing. And so a lot of times, if you go to eBay, just start looking for other characters, not necessarily your own, and you might find things that you can do. And I strongly, strongly encourage mashup, because mashup turns you from an imitator cosplayer into a creative cosplayer, creating something very unique. And don't let people that are with one universe or another root universe say that that's not real cosplay. I think it's the height of cosplay. So mash up as much as possible, and you can really have a lot of fun.
What we're going to do is we're going to stand up, let you take that final picture, and we are cosplay movement inside the costume in 2024.